Hello everyone, it's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Nima Akashat Zibra. Wait, how did you get there? Usually here.
No. I'm usually here. Also, but we haven't been together.
Yeah.
How
you doing, Nima?
It's been a while we've been together.
Yeah.
Since the fire.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
It's been a long
How you
while.
doing, Nima?
I'm fine. Today is the lecture.
Oh,
At 2 p.m. today.
Nice.
I really enjoyed the company of the guys behind it all. And this lady, Shola Shole of Channels,
Yeah.
we were having a dry run yesterday. Even though I was at the family house, it was interesting. Talking to them, we kind of have this synergy that makes it feel homely already. And then one of our fans wanted to shout out to his fiancé. His name is Kennedy Nwafo. They are all abroad in the abroad. And her name is Immaculate Eziogbo. Today is her birthday.
Happy birthday,
Immaculate. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. I've not checked my own.
I haven't
I'm
checked.
sure that I'm
I
happy
always
that you
mark
have. So I hope they tag Nima and BC because they'll definitely mention it. Hi, dear Mariam.
I'm fine, thank you. I just need to rant and appeal to Nigerians, really, because the railway tracks are not. The tracks are not, they are not the place for you to run your business, not the place for you to do a reverse, not for you to stop your car and ask for directions. You're endangering the lives of people behind you. I remember on last week, Wednesday, I was just happy that I sort of escaped it. You know how you're on the tracks, you can see the light from the train coming, and there was this man in his Hilux van just standing, you know, just there, right on the track.
And the train was coming.
Asking for directions. And then today, everybody is on those tracks. Of course, the market is there, you know, surrounded. Then you have people reversing, turning.
Which one specifically?
The Yaba area. They need to do something about it.
They've always traded on it.
Yeah, there used to be a time you would have a man come and just like raise a flag when the train is coming. But that Wednesday I was talking about was raining heavily. So I knew there wasn't going to be anybody there. We need to the government will not come down and force you to move. You need to do this on your own.
There used to be the mechanical ways to stop. So the lights and then this would open.
There's no gate.
I've seen someone die on those tracks as a child. I think it's something they should work on.
Really sad.
The train killed someone in front of us.
It's midweek. Anything happening aside from the lamentation?
What's up with you?
I'm fine. I mean, I don't know. I'm just studying. School has started, so we always have been tests. I have tests this weekend. I need to ask me something.
Yeah, well, you know, usually for me, when it's November, I just bring out my Christmas tree.
But
I haven't been able to do that. My daughter has been asking, please, when are we getting the Christmas tree? I just don't feel
that Christmassy mood.
Yes.
Well, usually December 5th, with my father's birthday, that's when we used to bring out the trees in my own house. So I kind of got used to the first week of December thing. But I mean, everywhere is Christmassy. People are in supermarkets, everybody's. I've not even thought about it. Christmas, eh?
I think people want to come early because of all that we've been through this year. But for me,
I want to party. Honestly, I want to party
with your mask on.
With my mask on, no, definitely.
Social distancing.
Go forward. Going forward. Any party I go now,
merge.
I'm doing.
The two don't merge, auntie.
No, you can't.
They don't merge.
No, you can't.
They don't.
Virtual party.
You cannot virtual party. Me, I'll go to normal parties. I'll wear my mask and I'll social distance. You'll be dancing there. I'll be dancing here. You'll be alright.
I'll see your videos from that one.
Don't worry. I'll post the next party at 10. Okay, there's so much to cover today. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to start with the nation. 2023, PDP fumes as its governor defects to APC. Zulum to rebuild Chibok school where girls were abducted. Panel to sell government assets in order, says Malami. Banks offer youths 2 billion naira agric loan at 5% interest rate. No end to varsity teachers strike, says ASU coordinator. And Dangote to rally billionaires on health sector funding. Lots of stories I like to take here.
Major headline.
Don't let us take on this APC PDP matter now. Let's find
so
out.
let's talk about the president.
Let's find, Zulum. I
so
want to take
Zulum visited the government secondary school Chibok. Of course, we know that school, and it's been 6.5 years since that sad incident, and many of them still missing. But also, the school is quite run down. I think a year after that abduction happened, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala led a government delegation. They had done a few things, but that has fallen apart as well. So the governor has promised to rebuild the school and make sure that it's well equipped with laboratories for sciences and teachers, both permanent and temporary teachers. And he says that the next time he visits, he hopes, he assures them that it will be built.
The government promises, I don't know about promises, but it says it's going to give them 11 million, give to 83 families.
No. So a family, about 83 families were have been affected by this insurgency, and so he gave 11 million to them. Towards just
but promises, I don't know.
No,
since 2014,
a lot of issues.
worried about
Number one is that attacking that school made the community lose interest in education, in Western education. The children are scared of going back to the school. And there's also issues of fraud. So this group that was supposed to what's it called? Refurbish the northeast or affected areas under the past administration. Spent some monies there and they couldn't deliver, certain.
Okay, I was going to take on the story on the banks. I wanted to be sure I read this thing well. I read it like 3 times because it said that CBN is under Accelerated Agriculture Development Scheme, ADS, is giving 2 billion naira per obligator for if you apply under agricultural sector. I read it. I said, are you sure it's 2 billion naira per person?
Who is an obligator?
What does obligator here? So let's define obligator.
Yes, who's an obligator?
Does obligator mean person or
a group of companies?
But
I'm an obligator.
Each person, I read it. I said, I've been okay. I can hear that. The 2 billion naira. That's what you can actually get if you apply, because they're trying to get 75% of the Nigerian population, which is youth under 35, to get interested in agriculture. I said, Tokwe falls very much into this.
I can't even go and do age declaration.
In fact, we are going to read that story again. Let's move on. But 2 billion naira, that's a lot of money. So they should come and define
what it is before we have issues of fraud.
Vanguard, I won't allow repeat of #EndSARS protest, says Buhari. Gunmen kidnappers on the prowl, killed district head, son in fresh Kaduna attacks, kidnap 8 persons in Edo. Dangote urges private sector players to commit up 1% of all their earnings to fund health. Umahi joins APC, cites PDP's injustice of Southeast. South governors demand apology from presidency. And FG saves 4 billion naira monthly from TSA, says finance minister. Which story do you want to take?
Major headline.
Okay.
So the president, at the National Security Council meeting, was addressing the #EndSARS and saying that follow-up of yesterday when they rounded up the African Shrine and refused Seun Kuti's meeting that wanted to have at that venue, saying that they plan to prevent such an occurrence ever again by involving stakeholders in the process of maintaining peace in the country, particularly our youth, community leaders, traditional rulers, politicians, public servants, and religious leaders. For me, this is just a repetition of what brought us here in the first place, involving certain,
stakeholders.
No, anointed heads. Involving anointed heads and not necessarily doing something for the general public. So the agitations are that there's impunity, there's disrespect of rule of law, people don't trust the court system and everybody is just getting abused without getting redress. So what we need is institutional reforms, not just picking traditional rulers who go and sit at one meeting, come back and say, we have discussed your issue, don't worry, all of you will take. ASU is still on strike.
Yes.
And you have that number of youth at home and you think there won't be a protest anyway.
All right.
So Dangote, during a virtual meeting with Bloomberg, they have this new economic forum virtual meeting. And during the session, he was just talking about, he was being asked about the health, health as it affects Nigeria. And he says that for him, he thinks funding is a major issue. And he proposed that the private sector work with government towards helping funding our health sector. He says that that they're trying to push a bill where 1% of the profits from the private sector is used to fund our health sector. This is apart from the corporate tax that they normally would pay. So we'll see how that goes.
I was going to say that finance minister is saying that TSA has helped us to save 45 billion naira monthly. But I don't even know how that information relates to the fact that we are owing 31 trillion naira.
Thanks. And we spend over 67%
portfolio right now.
Of our revenue servicing debt.
Yes.
So we don't have money enough.
So obviously Nigeria is broke based on the papers, on the reports. We don't. And I heard that they were going to borrow a fresh amount of money.
We keep borrowing. We recover money, but it's not enough.
From funny countries now. as we hear.
So the finance minister is saying that we're going to have to get as much with. They're scraping up everything they can find from VATs, from dividends, everything they can find to at least have some money to pay. Because according to Ben Akabuezi, by end of November, they can't pay salaries. About 428 MDAs won't be able to pay salaries, and that in itself is bad news. Nigerian Tribune. Broke federal government states governance scavenge for survival. Just talked about that. Hashtag answers. Woman who lost 2 months pregnancy admits Evans is her brother. 6 injured as Okada rider task force operatives clash in Lagos. Strange disease killed 50 in Kogi local government. Assembly member raises alarm. I joined APC in Southeast interest, says Ebonyi governor. I won't allow repeat of NSAS protest, says Buhari. Which story are we taking?
I really want to take that Ebonyi governor.
Go ahead,
because now he's alleging that the Southeast is in the interest that he defected and is blaming the PDP for lack of proper development in the Southeast. But this person has been in the PDP from 2007 till date. He was state chairman, he was deputy governor, he was a substantive governor for 8 years straight. And it is up until now that there's no development in your region. So let me quickly join my bros, Jimmy Disu, to say that people should start to question their regional leaders. He's been in leadership forever. This should have been the best time for him to be answering to why these people are not developed. And you're saying you are defecting now to another party. I'm sure it's for selfish interest.
I got the story from Kogi State. So there's a sad story. 50 people reported to have died since September in Olamaboro constituency and Olamaboro local government, sorry. And they have symptoms. They say they lose appetite, they have headaches, they have red eyes, inability to urinate or defecate, and then eventually they die within a week. This has been going on since September. And the lawmaker representing the constituency is asking that the Commissioner for Health be compelled to do a spot check, of what is happening and assess what is happening, and also appealing to government. See, the last time we read something like this from Delta State, it was that they had gone ahead to make the health centers, equipped enough to handle this. It was that, they had already done things. It's sad that in Kogi State, especially given their antecedents with the way they had handled coronavirus, that 50 people who have shown these symptoms of diseases are nothing, they're still just appealing to people since September.
Okay, really, really sad updates from Kogi State. Let's just move on to our final paper, Daily Sun. NSAS Buhari talks tough. Umahi finally defects, says no regrets joining APC. IBB Abdusalami welcome formation of Northern Central People's Forum. Police take over Africa Shrine to stop meeting. Fuel hike violation of agreements reached with FG says TUC, and abuse of constitution. Southern leaders suit against Buhari comes up today. Okay.
I took the North Central Forum, People's Forum. This story, I don't know why it makes me laugh. So this new forum has been created, which is different from the one that we know, like the Arewa Consultative Forum. And this particular one is really about the North Central states, and they went to visit IBB. And IBB was saying he's so proud that this has made his day, politicians. He says that, see, I know you will be the envy of all regions in the area of votes. The North Central has more than the Northwest. Yet, Northwest makes more noise than North Central. I mean, politicians just think in terms of votes. I'm thinking, how are we? Yes. So this North Central, what does this mean? I'm going for their development, for their people, really, not really about the votes.
I found this other story really interesting. The Trade Union Congress are saying that the fuel hike violation the fuel hike is a violation of agreements with federal government. And what they are saying that, yes, they agree with the subsidy removal. They agree that marketers or the market forces determine the prices. However, they are saying that they have it on their information that all the marketers haven't been able to import import fuel because they don't have access to dollars. So it means that NNPC is the one who has the exclusive access, and so they feel that it's totally in against of the agreement they had with the federal government. So I'm thinking to myself, TUC, marketers, what's the connection? Why are you following up with marketers?
Trade Union Congress now.
So they should be talking to the marketers.
Are also traders.
So okay, I was wondering, because me, I always have my light bulb on when I feel that the interest of why they're fighting against this subsidy is somewhat in the interest of other bigger players within the marketing, within the marketers group. That's my own hunch. But anyway, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we discuss other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So according to reports, there was chaos at the Apple Junction area in Amuwo-Odofin local government area yesterday as commercial motorcycle riders Okada protesters against seizure of their motorcycles by Lagos State Task Force. Our guests will be addressing the issue and sharing what they're doing to avert further crisis. Joining us on the show is Commissioner for Police, Mr. Hakeem Odumosu. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Hello, sir. Commissioner, are you there?
I'm here. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you very clearly. Thanks for joining us this morning. So yesterday at the Apapa-Oshodi Expressway, there was quite a bit of chaos as police officers who tried to stop Okada riders were obviously attacked, and there were bonfires everywhere. And many Lagosians are worried about the capacity of the Nigerian police in Lagos State to protect life and property after the aftermath of the protests.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
I want to assure all Nigerians, all foreigners living in Lagos, geographical area, that the police in Lagos State is capable. We are prepared, we are determined, and we have strategies in place to protect their lives and property. What happened yesterday is just part of the strategies. If you recall, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we were at Aja, where 720 people were arrested. So we are equally, so the property stolen from police station at Aja were recovered, arms recovered. Mm-hmm. So we are doing all this as being proactive system to make sure that every law-abiding citizens residing in Lagos has a full protection under the law. Mm. What happened yesterday at Amuwo-Odofin was still part of our movement to make sure, our strategy, to make sure that Yuletide period is safe for everybody. Okay. The task force, I ordered them now to move in, arrest the miscreants that have turned the Okada as a means of committing crime. And as expected now, they reacted. They reacted to that. We did what the law says you have to do. And after that reaction, about 74 of them were impounded on the Okadas now, and they reacted. Right. And because you know they are going to react, we have what we call mop-up operations. Okay. That's what we did. So they blocked the road, burn tires all over, but we curtail the whole thing and make sure that there is no single law-abiding citizens residing in this Lagos State that can say he or she was affected.
Okay.
And that's
all right.
I was affected, sir.
Yeah.
So I live on that axis of town, and it's a unique place part of Lagos. A lot of chaos. People thrive in chaos in that side of town. So you see trucks blocking off the road that other commuters can use and parking on the roads. The Okada becomes the last resort of every other motor user. My husband has never taken his car to the office for the past 2 years because, of course, he cannot get out of that traffic. So there's a peculiar nature of Apapa. And every time we talk to government, they will say it's Apapa. So I don't understand why suddenly now Okada riders are being attacked, because when I drove into Apple Junction yesterday, in fact, I can't describe how I made it home yesterday. But the truth is, why now? Why the Okada riders? Why are we not dealing with the issues in Apapa? You know, it would be nicer to see police officers clearing off traffic so people can pass and everywhere is safe and we see their presence than, you know, picking on certain people. Even when the ban was done, Apapa was exempted. So what exactly was the issue, sir?
Did you get that, sir?
I got you. She's still talking. Let me hear her. Now, you know the issue in Apapa There was a press conference I gave yesterday, and I said that if you don't want the noise of an aeroplane, don't move closer or don't reside within airport vicinity. The same thing, if you don't want to see the sight, the traffic of containers, then don't go closer to the seaport.
In that case,
We have where we call the seaport environment. That environment is where you must see containers all over the world, not only in Lagos. Wherever we have ports now, we have vessels coming in, we have ports that are conveying the goods or the vehicle or the vessels now into the hinterland now, they are more the traffic. Now, Apple Junction is not within, it's in the Fintech, it's not within the port area, it's not within the port corridor at all. We are talking of port corridor, we are talking of my two, we are talking of
Second Rainbow.
From Relay to Ijora, that's that axis. Coming from Tinkan, from our port to Ijora Sifas, to Ijora Police, that is Ijora Lopa, and the bridge coming to the port, that is port environment. There's no way we can avoid seeing traffic in that area. That is known worldwide.
Okay, I have to.
The same thing. So now what I'm going to say, Apple Junction is outside port environment. Apple Junction is within the within the residential and business environment of First Act. So it's completely outside that.
Okay.
So we are now just opposing that of Apapa as well as Apple Junction. They are two different environments entirely.
Okay, let me go ahead, Mariam.
Yeah, okay. I have a question, but just as a follow-up based on what you've just said, you are talking, if we were to go by what you have just explained, I think everybody should just leave Lagos. Because I live in Surulere and containers are almost on my head. We know that what is happening in Apapa is affecting many areas in Lagos. Just the backflow of everything that's going on there. So that's on one side. But my question now to what you say is the core of the matter, the Okada riders yesterday. I asked a few people why there was such a pushback from these Okada riders. And some of the stories I hear is that they understand the role of the task force, to maintain the order within the states. And if the bikes are in the way, they should be cleared out. But there's a story that's been going on over and over, is that sometimes the bikes are targeted at the new bikes, and then they take them away, and when they go to bail them out or get their bikes back, they are gone. And sometimes they are told that they are sold. Do you know of this? Do you understand that these are some of the problems that these people have? And what is the police doing to address it?
Now, there's always a blackmail syndrome. Once the Okadas are picked, we have a crushing companies that the Lagos State government are giving the franchise. We have them in Nepe, we have in Korodu, and we can show you the clips where the Okadas are being dismantled, are being crushed. So anybody now saying that Okadas are being recycled or something now, it's a matter of calling a dog a bad name in order to hang it. We expect this. They are fighting back. One thing I want you to understand is this. The Okada riders that you see, they have sponsors. People sponsor them. Those people riding the Okadas, they don't have the financial wherewithal now to buy the Okada and put on the road. When you see them, go and conduct your independent investigation. You will come to the times that those riding the Okadas, they don't have the wherewithal on their own to own that Okada with their own sweat. There are cabals, there are people somewhere that are sponsoring them who buy the Okada in large quantities, who bring them into Lagos State because of the constitutional position that every Nigerian has the right to reside own property, and do business in any part of the country.
Exactly.
That is when they are catching it on. During the lockdown, if I have to go back to that one now, at the beggar end, you'll see so many thousands that will turn back. Some of them coming with Okada. Somebody sponsored them. Right now, the Lagos government is in court with some sponsors of those bringing Okada in. They have sued the Lagos State government to court with 1 billion naira.
All right, we have very little time, so let me just let you have to wrap up with you right now.
I really need to understand your position when I spoke earlier about Apapa, because when you use Apapa, it's a general term for Apapa and all the environs. So when you say Apple Junction is not Apapa, you're correct. It's a residential area. But I can tell you about 3 or 4 terminals on the commercial avenue from ABC down to Ijesha. That's how I had to drive. It's a terrible condition, and Okada is also the resort for workers living there. If you talk about Old Jojo Road to Abule Oshu, you have more than enough over 11 terminals on that axis, which is totally residential, but recently turning into commercial areas. And the roads are terrible. So if you say Apapa is only Ijora, sir, you'll be economical with the truth.
Are you there, sir?
I'm hearing you.
Please, would you like to respond to that before you run out?
I'm not hearing you.
But you didn't hear that?
I'm not hearing you.
Okay, unfortunately, we have to wrap up on this. We might have to bring you back again to get more clarity. There are people that live within that region and they want within that axis, and they wouldn't want to say that they assume that they need to move away. They say that if they live there, they should know that they're the tankers and they must get adjusted to that lifestyle. I'm not sure that is the right approach at this point. However, we'll bring you back for better clarity on this subject. We have to move on now. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So recently, the CBN issued a fraud alert to the Nigerian public about the alarming rate of cybercrime activities. And according to them, cyber criminals steal sensitive information or gain unauthorized access into computers or mobile phones using different techniques. Joining us is a financial technology expert, Mr. Tunji Andrew. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning. I'm here.
You can call us on 09.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for joining us. Now, the issue of financial crime, especially online, lots of people have been victims of these acts. How do we as citizens begin to ensure that we don't fall prey to these activities?
I think the first thing is to understand how your phone is connected to your bank account, how your SIM card, as secure as it is, at least I know that the regulators have tried to make it very secure, how it is a signature in itself to your financial transactions. You know the way it is that you go to your checkbook and you do a signature, and that signature is seen as an authentication from you. Your SIM card is also seen in that same regard, especially in terms of trying to push financial inclusion in the country. So for people, we need to just educate ourselves and also know the channels that are open to us in case we get our phones stolen or maybe misplace our phones at some point or the other, or basically even just start paying more attention to even when we leave our phones in places that are not entirely secure.
Okay.
Yeah. What would you advise for like this category of people, like much older generation? You know, they're still already trying to figure out the phone. And if you hear most of the stories, they seem to be the ones that fall prey to things like that. What is the simplest advice or, you know, like a set of things to do we can tell someone older who really is not keen about learning everything about their phone, but to help keep them safe from things like this?
Unfortunately, there isn't a SIM card for the older generation or SIM card for the less tech savvy. Yeah. And this is, of course, one of the things that these cyber criminals tend to take advantage of. For instance, you find out that some people are funny because they want to remember their BVN numbers, save their BVN on their phone as BVN. And most people don't also realize that if you have an app like Truecaller on it, people can, find out that BVN number just by searching. So
really?
it's a situation whereby we need to be very careful with how we use our mobile phones. Because, one of the things about it is that if your SIM card is not with you, if it is stolen, it carries all your bank information. It's pretty simple. All I have to do is dial the code of a few banks to know which bank you're using. All I also have to do is dial a particular code to get your BVN number. Note that just dialing a code brings your BVN to the particular phone itself. It's not very complex to be able to hack your phone. It's not a very complex thing. And the reason for this is, like I said again, in trying to push financial inclusion, because USSD transactions are very easy. You don't need the internet to do it. You can do it anywhere as long as there's mobile telecommunication and network or access to that particular place. So at the top of my mind, I'm thinking, if you do not think they are that savvy, then you have to pay a little bit more attention to making sure that they are not taken advantage of, because really there's really very little we can do in that area.
So, but if you lose your phone, the first thing you need to do is go cancel your SIM, correct? To save all your data.
Actually, no. Canceling your SIM can take a while, but what you need to do is that every single bank has created a protocol for you to be able to suspend your card immediately. Okay. And that is the first thing you need to do, because the guys are not trying to take charge of your SIM card. They will most likely throw it away immediately. What they want is the money in your bank account. So you have to either have access to mobile banking, internet banking. Internet banking, where you can log into your account via the internet and suspend your card from there. Some banks also have a call center, although I would advise that you not use the call center, because it can take a while for them to pick up sometimes. I just advise a lot of people to know how to get into their internet banking settings, because that gives you immediate access from any computer anywhere. You can just log in quickly, suspend, and then while you're trying to get back your SIM, so that, because what they do immediately at first is that they try to recharge airtime credit. Now, when you do airtime credit, you know that if you do star something, star 200 hash, it doesn't really ask you for any password. If you check, if you notice anytime you've done that, it doesn't ask you for a password. Right. But when it gives you the airtime, it will tell you the balance in your account.
Right.
So immediately, that's the first thing they do. So once they've done that, they know how much is in their account. They know what to be targeting, so they go straight for it. So while they're trying to do that, you also have to be very quick to go into your account and suspend it.
Interesting.
If the money is taken by these people, I don't think there's much liability you can put on the bank.
No.
Usually you bear the liability.
Yes, they don't.
So, okay, I want to
because also you find out that some people leave it so carelessly that even these people will then use the line and go to one of these fintechs that give you loans, take a loan,
Okay.
So,
all right.
Let's talk about what you resort to do when this happens. So most of the banks and the internet banking apps that they've given us have sort of reassured us with what we see on them. But I had an experience where I looked on the app and there's an account officer's phone number and name to my account. But ever since, anytime I have such issues and I call the number on that, she never picks it up. I have her name and everything. I've sent her SMSs when I had issues. I had to personally go on the app, find a way to deal with the issue myself. So if you don't have someone to guide you on exceptional issues of when it involves a SIM card loss or any other thing like that, and the banks, what exactly can you do? Maybe through the CBN or somewhere else?
So I get the situation with you calling your account officer and they're not responding. Unfortunately, they have multiple people they are dealing with, and at the same time, they still have massive targets to meet up with. So So a lot of the time, those people do not pick up those phones. I don't think you have much leeway in terms of reporting misdemeanor on your phone because it is assumed that when you signed up to this thing, you need a risk in taking it. And that is why they created those quick models for you to be able to get access to your account and block it. Also, some banks allow you to use USSD from a third-party phone. So you can use, even if there's no internet connection, you can't get into your internet banking. You can use USSD from a third-party phone, and if you have your details, of course, sign in and basically block your line. It's just a simple protocol to block your line.
Right.
Every bank is different in terms of doing that, but what you need to do is any phone around you really that has access to the network, whether internet or not, can be used to block your phone. So what you need to do is find out from your own bank how to do it. So that you not get into that situation.
I have to run off with you, but let me ask you, this is a personal question. I lost my phone a few weeks ago. I lost my SIM. I canceled the SIM, and I got my SIM back. But I never went to the bank for anything because my money in the account was still there. So do I still have to be worried? Or I still need to get to the bank?
Yes, you have to be worried. I'm surprised you are not worried. Please be worried. It's always a risk. Because what you must understand is that your SIM carries all your bank details. Every single bank detail you have, it carries everything, your SIM card. And it is an access to your money. Whether they take it now, whether they take it in 2 months, whether they don't remember until they see it in 4 years, it can still be an access to your account. And even if they don't do it, you just don't want your details lying around there. So what you want to do is to make sure that you block that particular account and get a new one, and do all the right things you need to do.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We appreciate this information. I'm rushing off to the bank right after this. I'm telling you. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue with your views. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So in these times when fake news is rife and everyone is now a citizen journalist, we need to separate the wheat from the chaff. Now, how can we practice true journalism in this social media era, in this Sorosuke generation? How can Nigerians identify fake news from the true stories? What do we need to do to make sure that fake news does not spread like wildfire as we've seen in recent times? Joining us on the show is a Nigerian journalist, media entrepreneur, Kadaria Ahmed. Good morning, Kadaria. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you.
Good morning.
So you can call us on 09024163440. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag TVC so we can read your tweets. Kadaria, I think it's so right to have you on the show because this time where everybody is a journalist, everybody is saying something, you witness something, you record it, and you post it online, it goes viral, people get worried, and later enough, oh, it was fake news. Yes. How do we get back the trust? How do mainstream journalists get back the trust of the people where we trust and we know that, yes, the news we're getting from the mainstream media is accurate?
Okay, so there are two things. Over the last few days, I've actually spent a bit of time fighting on Twitter about people trying to sort of discredit journalism.
Right.
And people kind of believing that maybe we're going on the defensive and we're not recognizing some of the issues that we have. So we have to separate the two things. Journalism still matters. Right. It is a critical function that is required for any democratic country. If you choose not to be democratic, then you can do away with journalism. But if you say that you're a democratic country, then constitutionally, journalists are there because they're supposed to tell basically truth to power and hold people in positions of authority accountable. Right. So the issue of fake news, which is basically misinformation and disinformation, so disinformation being a deliberate attempt to mislead people. Misinformation is where you make mistakes, because things have gone wrong. The fact that these two exist is not a reason for people to say do away with journalism. That is what tyrants want. You know, that is, they don't want anybody holding them accountable. But do we have problems? Yes, we do. And it's not unique to Nigeria, unfortunately. We are in a misinformation and disinformation age globally. So as journalists, our job really is to follow process, is to put in place the things that we must do in order to ensure that whatever we take out to people is accurate, is credible, and where we make mistakes, to quickly own up.
Right.
I think trust is going to increasingly be a currency, and the media houses that cultivate and maintain the trust of audiences are the media houses that will do well. So again, it isn't saying that this isn't going on. It's about saying, how do we make sure that we improve our own standards? I mean, I'm a big advocate of self-regulation, you know, and there are conversations taking place within the industry. They are too slow, in my view, and I get really frustrated because I think it's in our interest to actually improve the quality of our offerings. It is in our interest for the audiences to trust us, because we can't do our job well unless we have people trusting what we give them.
So based on this generation of, you know, we now have, you trained under as a professional, but there are several journalists now on social media.
Yes.
What exactly can we do
but
to
they're
make
not
sure?
journalists. This is the
What
issue,
are they?
right?
So what are they, and how do we check?
They can be bloggers, they can be social commentators, they can be even what you call citizen journalists, right? And I think it is important that when people get news, they realize the source of that news. And that's why I'm saying media houses actually have a lot to gain from investing in training their journalists, from ensuring that before they take things out, that they verify those things. So there's a lot of training on verification, because you can differentiate yourself based on the quality of what you give people. Now, we have seen the democratization of information as a result of social media, right? You can't, you know, dial that back. And it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, right? So if you look at the quantum of what we call fake news, misinformation, disinformation, versus the good that social media has done in terms of giving people access and a voice, the good outweighs the bad. So you can't throw away the baby with the bath water. You know, you understand what I'm saying? And this idea that you should start to gag freedom and people's ability to talk is just not acceptable, right? We unless, again, like I said, if Nigerians today make a decision that we don't want a democracy, we want an autocratic government, because we think that is where we're at in our development, finding a big man that will take decisions for us, that's an entirely different thing. But if you say you are a democratic nation, you can't have a democracy without journalism. It's really that simple.
I find that people believe what they want to believe. So you put out an information, and sometimes they say, because of the climate, what you said does not really show like support for what is going on right now, and therefore what you're saying, and therefore what you're saying is wrong, even though it is true. How can I be a good journalist as well as
we are very factionalized in this country, and sometimes people forget that Nigerian journalists don't come from mass. You understand what I mean? They are regular Nigerians with some of the biases that are inherent. The way to do that is to build a process that makes journalists aware that they have biases, so that you eliminate those biases from the way they report. And that is done through process, which is why, you know, a blogger is different from someone working in a place like this, where there's a process for collating the news, checking it, and taking it out. And if you follow those processes and you put the right processes in place from the beginning, even your journalists will be aware that my biases are about to kick in. Maybe I need to dial down. Having said that, we do black and white too much in this country. You know, we don't do nuance. We don't do complexity. So it's either it's all wrong or it is all right. Or this is, we are anti-Buharis or we are pro-Buharis. How about you be pro-Nigeria? Right? And everything, so that whatever you are reporting on is based on what works for this country.
Let me ask you, especially with the experience we've seen with the international media, CNN, Fox News, we've seen all their leanings, and we're seeing journalists having to almost wear on a new character. In like bringing it in the Nigerian context, anything you say, no matter what you say as a journalist, people judge you based on where you work. Oh, XYZ owns you. Oh, XYZ is the sponsor. XYZ, you know. And even you have a journalist trying to do your work professionally, it's beclouded by that perception. How do journalists, especially those who are coming up, how do they begin to show that they're different?
Two things you've raised. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having ideological leanings. Internationally, you've had newspapers actually come out and declare for a candidate during elections, for example. The issue is not to pretend that you do not have an interest. And that's why they say, look, declare your full disclosure. Declare your full disclosure. I'm pro-Trump. Okay, so I'm pro-Trump, but I'm telling you da-da-da-da. What it does is that you are then saying to your audience, I respect you enough not to lie to you. I respect you enough not to try and pull a wool over your eyes. I am saying to you, this is my position when it comes to this man, but here are the facts, the way I have put them together. And then that way, people will take everything and run it. Look, it will take time. Because Nigerians are also, let's be honest, we have fault lines. Like I said, we are not... we are not where we should be, but it's progress. 200 years of democracy unraveling in the last 4 years under our eyes. And somehow we think we're going to wake up in a Nigeria that is perfect within how many years? It doesn't work that way, right?
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation with Kadaria. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we still have Kadaria Ahmed with us. Yes, Nima had a question.
So I think you as a veteran owe certain people the opportunity of training. So these bloggers that we always group up and just discard, is there a possibility that the Institute of Journalism can offer them the opportunity to get properly trained so that we have at least, because that platform is huge, we have proper news.
Look, you can take a horse to water. You can't force a horse to drink. If someone decides they're opening a blog and they want to write, and well, yes. So we've just opened our radio station, Radio Now 95.3.
Congratulations!
And part of the reason why we did that was that we thought the radio broadcast space has a gap. We think Nigerians, we don't do the why, the context, the analysis. So what does it mean? How is it going to affect me? If I wanted to get engaged, what do I do? That sort of journalism is what we want to do. And part of what we're doing at the moment, there's a boot camp that is taking place where we've sort of, made a call out for young journalists. 3,000 people applied.
Oh, wow.
I know. 50 were shortlisted. And those 50 are now in the boot camp. And we're going to sort of work with them over the next few weeks. And then we'll sort of whittle it down to about 25 who will join us. And of those 25, about 15 will end up with full-time roles. And part of that is the recognition that people might have the talent, they might have the passion, but at the end of the day, journalism requires skill sets. And you have to teach people how to gather news, how to put it together, how to do it in a way that enables people to trust that process.
Let me take this call from Chris. Chris, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Yes.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
All right. Without being immodest, thank you, Kadaria, for this opportunity. I think you've put in one or two nuggets into our heads, and especially with the way we are going at the people in terms of news information. But I want to ask something very pertinent. I think the journalism industry should take responsibilities and own the media space, not only the traditional media, but the social media space. Now, say, for instance, without being disrespectful, the three people sitting beside you, are they professional journalists? That is the first question to ask. And how do you separate them from being on television this morning and afterwards with the huge followership they have on social media? How do they interact? How do they put themselves between working for an established normal print and then having their private life on social media? So the journalism industry must own responsibility to try to make sure that these things are put. We've seen errors now where radio presenters, DJs, and so on and so forth are becoming journalists using their platform to also perpetuate and encourage what they've seen on social media. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me respond and direct the question, because the truth is that when we started Your View, for example, the idea was to get Nigerians to talk. and get women to speak and have a view. So we didn't get professional journalists. We got regular Nigerian women who depend on the professional journalism system that we have in place to talk. Still there. So that was the idea. But the truth is that as citizen journalism is increasing and we're realizing that more Nigerians are getting into that space, we are the leaders to show how it should be done. Yes, we're not the trained professionals. However, our job is to ensure we do it the right way and still use the same processes professionals use.
So here is something he said that is really important. He is absolutely right. The industry must take responsibility. There's no excuse for some of the errors we see, both in traditional media, but also traditional media utilizing social media platforms, right? There's no excuse for it. However, I keep insisting you have to have a nuanced conversation. The fact that the media is getting some things wrong, it's not an excuse, because over the last few days, off the back of the NSAS protest, what you've done is you've seen anarchists on Twitter, on social media saying, do away with journalism. Nigerian journalism, rubbish, da, 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 da. Without Nigerian journalism, you will not be able to have the conversation you're having today. People forget people died. You know, people like Kule Ajibade were in jail. People like Dapo Oloriyomi, so that we could speak truth to power. You understand? They fought the military to a standstill. It is the reason why you can go out and actually vote and decide that this is the man you want to run you. So my issue is not holding the media or the journalism accountable. We must. And I think the media industry is not doing well enough. You know, there are conversations that are happening internally that I'm very frustrated are happening too slowly, in my view. And what you do, if you don't take care of it yourself, is you allow room for autocratic government to say, well, because of ABCD, we are going to take control. So that's one thing. But when you talk about people who sort of didn't start out as journalism, a journalist is not only someone who went to journalism school. When I was at the BBC, some of our biggest reporters, for example, the guy reporting the legal beat, has done it for 20 years, started out as a lawyer. There are people who report the sciences that read chemistry, physics. What makes you a journalist is the process you use in gathering your news. So if you follow a process and you're not just clicking and putting out, you follow the process of you collect, you verify. You speak to the people involved, you hear all the viewpoints, and then you go out again and check, and then you report. You're a journalist.
Yeah. Then sometimes we hear this journalism should take responsibility, but sometimes I wonder if citizens should also take responsibility for what they choose to consume, what they would prefer to consume. So you have information out there. You have one that's gone through the processes, but it doesn't sound right in your ears. It doesn't.
Okay, so here's something that they're doing in other countries, and there's something that we too want to start doing recently, something called media literacy. Countries, even with the best journalistic institutions, places like France, Germany, they realize that there are people who are deliberately setting out to misinform. So from primary school now, they're introducing something called media literacy, teaching young people how to discern, how to be able to tell what is fake, what is made up, etc., etc. And I think globally this is going to be something that
we have to wrap up very soon. But going back to what you're planning, I think what you're doing is laudable. I think a lot of young people need a proper training. Because you're our person now, so tell us more about it so we can tell our viewers. Is it free? I hope it's free.
What?
To apply. Well, they've already shortlisted already.
Unfortunately, they've shortlisted. It's over. But we launch Radio Now 95.3 December 1st. We're doing test transmission now, yes.
Fantastic.
And so...
Oh, there's a party, social distancing party.
Sorry, on Zoom. But, you know, just people should listen, and we'll be open to people telling us if we're doing things wrong. We really believe that currency is going to be trust. And that's what we're going to try and do on Radio Now 95.3, is to earn the trust of audiences and hold it and use that as a way to sort of discuss the things that we think are important in this country.
What's going to be your point of difference? What's that?
It's again starting with trust, but we are interested not in so much in breaking news, but in analysis and context. We think not many people do that. So it's about what it means, why it matters, you know, what you can do about it, how you can get involved.
Fantastic.
That's
Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
We'll look out for it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So I hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did. Thank you very much, Kadaria, and all those who called in. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.